Good morning, everybody. Okay, it's time for our coffee break. So take a minute, push back from the desk, grab a cup of coffee or whatever your preferred drink is, and join us for a bit of reading. The reading's probably around 7 minutes today. I see some of you have been taking advantage of the Smashword sale for several of my books. Thank you. Way to go. I hope you enjoy them. And I will be putting the links for this book in the comments after we post this live. So here we go with High Dive. It was released in December of 2019. It is the newest addition to the Colorado Dreams and Desires book series. So here we go. She sat at a table by herself with her head tilted back a bit, exposing a long, graceful neck. With her eyes closed, she was the picture of peace in a veritable storm of noise and movement. Watching her peaceful expression, he was drawn to her even more. As a waiter passed in front of him with a tray of lemonade, Michael snatched 2 glasses before walking toward her. When he reached the table, he gently jiggled the glass of ice and lemonade beside her head. She pried open one eye and grinned. You, sir, are a saint, she said, reaching for the glass that dripped with condensation. Michael pulled it out of her reach. And you, dear lady, are cruel. If you want this drink, you have to apologize. Apologize? For abandoning me. I don't look at it as abandoning you. It was more getting out of the way so your public could appreciate you, she said with a guilty grin. My public? I haven't heard that term in some years. He noticed her flushed face and the fact that her eyes kept darting everywhere to avoid looking directly at him. When she finally responded, he thought he detected a nervous quiver in her voice. Oh, come on, Mr. Reese. I'm sure everyone here knows who you are. Intrigued, Michael played along. It's Michael, he reminded her. And just who am I? Again, her eyes darted out over the guests in the lawn before meeting his gaze with a shy sparkle to them. Her flush deepened. He raised an eyebrow in encouragement. All right, I admit it. I was a groupie too. She waved her arms up in a gesture of surrender. A groupie? I'm not a rock star, he said, laughing. No, but you are an Olympian, a gold medal winning Olympian at that. Michael stopped laughing and stared. You're not old enough to remember that far back. That made her laugh. Thank you, I think. However, I am old enough to remember the heartthrob of the High Dive. That was your nickname, right? Ugh, Michael said, and covered his face with his hands. I always hated that name. He peeked at her through his fingers and couldn't help grinning as she waggled her eyebrows at him. That was over 10 years ago. You couldn't have been more than, what? His eyes made another very enjoyable sweeping glance over her body. 12, maybe? The moment the words were out of his mouth and his brain did the math, he wondered what he was doing pursuing her. She couldn't be older than the juniors on campus. She frowned. Just how old do you think I am? And before you answer, remember, I have a doctorate. Michael shrugged, still wondering why he was attracted to someone so young. So you were a smart kid. You can't be more than 22 or 3, and that's pushing it. If I hadn't seen you stretched out on that lounge chair earlier and noticed just how much of a woman you are, I'd say younger. His comment sent her flush from soft pink to full-fledged scarlet. Her eyes widened and her hands began to nervously pleat the long skirt she wore. Well, she said quietly, you would be wrong. I'm 26. Michael got the uncomfortable feeling if he didn't do something quick, she would bolt again. That would still make you only 15 or 16 when I was competing. I find it hard to believe you would have given me a second look with all the boys your age drooling over you. They probably didn't give you time to watch some old man like me on TV. One of her eyebrows arched over her beautiful gray eyes. Fishing for compliments? Am I supposed to say, oh, Michael, you're not old. Bat my eyelashes and stroke your ego? Sorry. I'll go so far as to say, you're not old. But the eyelash batting and ego stroking will have to be handled by the other women around here. I never was any good at that sort of thing. So she wants to change the topic, he thought. Okay, unlike Gloria, he would take a subtle hint. Okay, you caught me. If I promise to be good, will you promise not to abandon me to the likes of Gloria again? Gloria? The brunette you abandoned me to. I'd already shaken her daggers once this evening. It wasn't any more enjoyable the second time. For a moment she seemed to consider him as if trying to decide if he was serious. Then she raised her hand to her forehead with a definite air of suffering. Oh, I suppose, she said, dropping her hand and winking. That is, as long as you stay at this table. I don't plan on moving again until I leave. Then you ate already? He cringed at the pout he heard in his voice, but he had really been looking forward to sharing a meal with her. No, I simply haven't mastered buffet lines yet. Michael looked toward the buffet and back. He'd missed something. He was sure of it. What's to master? You pick up a plate, fill it with food, and take it back to your table. Spoken like a man with 2 free hands, she said dryly, rolling her eyes. Michael held up his hand in front of him and examined it before reaching for hers and doing the same. Did I miss something? Tilting her head sideways, she studied him again before answering. My cane, Michael. It makes... Cane? She pulled her hands free and, reaching behind her, retrieved the item in question. Cane, as in something to help you walk? I know what a cane is, he grumbled. I just hadn't noticed it earlier. Well, now you have, so feel free to go find your brunette. I'm sure if you apologize, you can get back in her good graces. You really shouldn't have wasted your time on me. She turned and hooked the cane on the chair back again before reaching for the glass of lemonade and staring out at the milling throng. Totally flummoxed and more than a little ticked, he leaned into her line of sight. Why in hell would I do that? I've been trying to get rid of her for 2 years. You just made it easier to stop being subtle and tell her to buzz off. She gasped. You told that beautiful woman to buzz off because of me? Yes, his mind screamed, but he got the distinct feeling that wouldn't go over well. So he told her, no, I told that obnoxious, vain, irritating, shallow woman off because she deserved it. Oh. A long silence settled over them. Michael ignored the stares of a few nearby people who must have heard his raised voice. Bobby mostly stared into the glass of lemonade she still held. When he could stand the silence no longer, he spoke. So, about that buffet line. And that's it for the rest of it. You'll have to pick up the book yourself. I know it's also at a few libraries if you'd rather do that. I will post the link to this book in the comments when I'm done here. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another coffee break. Take care.